The NHRA was at Houston, the NASCAR Cup Series, and NASCAR Xfinity Series visited the Talladega Superspeedway, and we have plenty of news from IndyCar and IMSA. Welcome to a new episode of Europeans Watching American Racing, and we have to apologize a little bit because we are late with this episode because, we were really busy with our jobs, but we're finally here, and I think we still have plenty of stuff to talk about from the last weekend. My name is André Wiegold, I'm from Germany, and my Italian co-host is Gianluca Guiglia.
Welcome, everyone! We're ready to go a little bit late, but I really hope you missed us. So, where do we start from?
Today we start from the NHRA. The NHRA Spring Nationals from the Houston Raceway Park in Baytown, Texas.
Well, the fastest cars on Earth were at Houston for the last time. Houston is closing down. Now it's closed to do some renovations. At the moment, we don't really know exactly if and when they will be back on schedule. So, Pro Stock Motorcycle. Let's start from the bikes. Reigning champion Matt Smith against Steve Johnson in the final. When there is Matt Smith in the final, you have a favorite. But this time, the race went the other way. So Smith, who's normally racing a Suzuki, after the semifinal, he broke the Suzuki and he switched back to the Buell he was racing since until I think last year or 2 years ago. Anyways, it was super competitive, and this is strange. I didn't know you could switch vehicle during the event. Honestly, didn't know. But the final went to Steve Johnson, who got his 10th career win with a 6.720 time at 199.91 miles per hour. The interesting thing is that is this one Matt Smith switch bike, and the post-race interview of Steve Johnson was super funny. Oh yeah, I want to beat Matt Smith, and when you have Matt Smith in the final, you have to beat him, whatever bike he brings to you.
Okay. Just for the European fans, 221 kilometers per hour on a bike.
Yeah. In 400 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Up to the Pro Stock category. And two ladies in the final. Erica Enders, multi-time champion, versus Camry Caruso. Caruso eliminated a legend of the sport, Greg Anderson, in the semifinals, while Erica Enders came from eliminating Kyle Koretsky. Enders has a special relationship with Houston. She's Texan, and this is the track where she got her very first career race. So Erica Enders took the win, and she won the last race at Houston in Pro Stock. The time was 6.568 at 210.24 miles per hour. As usual, the Pro Stock category is very tight. The field is super bunched because you buy the car and you can just optimize what you have. There's no technical advancement to give you a lot of advantage on the opponents. Yes, tell me.
383 kilometers per hour. But my question is, we have an all-female final there, and I see female drivers all over the place in the NHRA.
Yes.
Maybe you can explain me, what are they doing better than other racing series in the world?
This, honestly, to me, it's a long-term thing. I think they started very early, and they had the luck to have, luck. She was very good. If I am the series organizer, I consider myself lucky in that case. Back in the 70s, 80s, they had, let me check, a huge champion. The first Top Fuel female champion was one great character, incredible woman, Shirley Muldowney. And to me, she really opened the door very early for the ladies in NHRA. And once the door is open, this is how it works. Once the door is open, people will come, and they are doing a very good job in making opportunities for them.
So basically, they have a time advantage on all other series because they were focusing on bringing female drivers a little bit earlier. Of course, we had Janet Guthrie in the NASCAR series as well, but the real development of women in motorsports started way past in the modern era, and the NHRA started earlier. Is that the case?
Yeah, I really think so. Consider that Shirley made her racing debut on a drag strip in 1958,
Oh, okay.
and she had to struggle to obtain her NHRA Pro license, and she obtained it in 1965, and she competed in the 69 and 1969 and 1970 US nationals. So when in the 70 a lady can become a champion in the sport, you have a huge time advantage.
Yeah.
And remember that NHRA in that period was really popular in the United States. Absolutely.
So
So I think it's a time advantage, and they are riding the wave very well.
no, that's interesting. So NHRA could be a role model for different series in the world because yes, we see the development of female drivers in all other series in NASCAR, in IndyCar. We see it in Europe. We have the W series, and we're still struggling to find a person that is good enough sometimes or supported enough. On the other hand, these are the two different ways to become one of the most successful drivers in a series or in an era. So basically, NHRA did a good blueprint on what to do to bring gender equality to motorsports. So I'm really liking that because even if you look at the things you see on social media or in the broadcast, what I notice, they don't really make a hype out of it. It's normal for them, so they don't really do something like, "Oh man, there's a woman winning." They, yeah, of course, one of the 100,000 women we have in our series is winning. So
Yes.
nothing special, and this is something I really like that they don't make a difference there as well,
Exactly.
because that means there is no difference. Because when you don't make a difference, there is no difference. But when you have to point out that you are trying to get a female driver into the series and try to overdo it with the hype, I think sometimes
Exactly.
you destroy the career because you put so much pressure on those ladies, and yeah, you
And
don't
for
get,
any
yeah,
and if for any reasons they don't deliver,
yeah, they're out.
that's a failure.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're out. And people have again a reason to complain. Oh, they are not good enough and stuff like this. But that's not true. They're in a way different spotlight than other drivers. Um, we come to a driver later in this episode who had
Mhm.
not that much pressure, and we have to talk about that guy a lot in this series. So there you see the difference. When Hailie Deegan joined NASCAR, all eyes on her. When Natalie Decker is racing, all eyes on her. Danica Patrick, she had so much pressure, and people consider her failing, but she brought so much value with her skills and her personality to NASCAR or to IndyCar. You cannot even imagine what that woman made and what impact that woman made on that sport. And I really don't like the complaining stuff, but it's also, you don't have to overdo. Let them develop, let them be a normal part of the race. Don't
Yep.
make the difference too big. And I think NHRA is doing a very good job, also on the media side.
Yeah, exactly. Especially on the media side, for what I'm concerned, because that's my field of my professional field. But honestly, they treat everyone as a competitor, give them the same opportunities, and don't expect people to be the super champions. Because anyway, as soon as you create expectations, You if the person doesn't deliver, and it's really tough to deliver in racing.
Yeah.
It's not a stick and ball game where one team wins and the other one loses.
Yeah.
Nope. You have you have thousands of drivers trying and very few win.
Yeah.
And that's not the only accomplishment you can have. But anyways, just to clarify, Maldani didn't have an easy life. Not even with NHRA. Huh? They didn't want to give her the license to compete in Top Fuel. She had to really fight for it, and she delivered. But then I think it became a key point in the series history, and they really turned it around and made it work. Just I'm citing from Wikipedia, so it needs to be verified. But Maldani said that the NHRA fought her every inch of the way.
Yeah.
They didn't want her to get a license, so she did it. She became a multiple-time champion in the sport in Top Fuel, 77, 1980, 1982. So go look for her on the internet. And wait, hey man, she's 81. One day maybe we should invite her. Why not?
If she's available, of course, yes.
Okay, man, back to the races.
Yeah.
Top Fuel category. We had
wait.
Yes.
The funny car.
Yes, you're right. Funny car category. Funny car. Yes, I was almost forgetting. The usual stuff in NHRA: big explosions, engines. Blowing up. Yeah, there was just Matt Hagan. Matt Hagan faced. Who did he face?
In the final?
Yes, in the
Bobby
final.
Bode.
Do you have the Bobby Bode? Yes. Well, Reagan won the second race of his season for Tony Stewart. Good luck, Tony. Good job. And we had a big explosion for Bobby Bode. He tried everything he could to match Matt Hagan, but literally this happens quite often in funny cars. Literally the engine exploded and boom, it took out the whole body of the car. They have a carbon fiber body put on the chassis. The engine is in front of the driver. So when it's really scary, I think. So when a problem happens, the engine explodes, boom, the whole body flies away, and the driver is facing flames.
Yeah.
Coming at him. It must be really, really scary. Now it's pretty much safe stuff because they have of course, all the safety features needed for it, but I think it's still really scary.
You know what I think? What's scary? To win the race with 525 kph, 326 miles per hour. This is scary as well. The car is intact. You are winning. Everything's fine. But I think it's scary to go over 500 kilometers per hour.
It's definitely scary. I think it's scary to watch. So it at 3.9 seconds to do from standing still to 500 kilometers per hour in 3.9 seconds. Kaboom. So, Matt Hagan, 41st funny car, Wally. Top Fuel. We had Justin Ashley versus Brittany Force. And Brittany Force won. Second win of the season for her as well. Margin of victory, 0.02 of a second. Approximately, I'd say 4 meters at 500 kilometers per hour. So it was a great race, side by side, all the way down the track. 3.767 seconds at 321 miles per hour for Brittany Force. And she won the second Wally of the season. The Wally, I always talk about these Wallies. What is a Wally? I'm sure at home they are asking for it. The Wally is a trophy. It represents a guy standing with his hand on a tire, on a big tire, and the trophy is named the Wally after the founder of NHRA, Wally Parks, who created this trophy in 1969. 1969. So since then, it has always been the same trophy, same size. They changed the material, the construction material, but it's the same exact trophy. So John Force has 150 something of them somewhere at home.
Okay.
That's incredible. So this was it for NHRA at Houston.
No.
The point stand.
Yeah, point
Wait,
standings. Yeah, the point
tell
standings.
me. Exactly.
I wanted to remind you about the point standings.
Yes, sure. Top Fuel. Brittany Force is leading the points with 32 points advantage on Steve Torrance, then Justin Ashley and Mike Salinas. In Funny Car, Matt Hagan is leading Robert Height, Ron Capps, and Cruz Pedragon. In Pro Stock, Erica Enders is leading Aaron Stanfield, Kyle Koretsky, and Dallas Glenn. And in Pro Stock Motorcycle, Karen Stoffer is leading the points ahead of Steve Johnson, Angie Smith, and Eddie Krawick. So, good job, NHRA at Houston.
Yeah, that sounded like incredible racing over there. I think now we head to Alabama, right?
Yes, Alabama. It's Talladega, baby.
It's Dega, baby. We had the super speedway race at the biggest track on the NASCAR schedule. And I think we start with the NASCAR Cup Series because, man, we have plenty of things to talk about. I was in the commentary booth there because in Germany we have a TV channel broadcasting it in English, and my TV channel, who I work for, bought some part of the NASCAR schedule, and we had the Talladega race live on TV, and we're doing it in a German language. So I was there with my colleague Pete Fink, and we were in the booth, and we were magnified by this. It was a perfect race, in my opinion, rated 9 out of 10. We down had the big one. It was a medium one or medium rare one. I don't
medium one.
medium rare one. I don't know how to call it. Like a steak, you know.
Yes.
It's a medium one. It was not a bloody one. That's for sure. But we had incredible racing because we saw again the different manufacturers and teams working together. We had, of course, Ford and Chevrolet having more cars than Toyota, because Toyota is always number-wise in a disadvantage on the super speedways. And we saw interesting stuff because when we had single file, it lasted, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes. And then the second lane was opened again. And we saw people pushing, working together, trying to move all the race long. It was amazing to watch those guys. And of course, it was Talladega. So we saw people at the front who were doing a good job as well in the other races. But of course, Talladega is a lottery. Everyone can win. So I put my money on Eric Jones, by the way, before the race. I said, pity GMS Racing. They did a great job in the 2022 season. So I put my money on Eric Jones. And I was disappointed 300 meters before ahead of the start-finish line. The problem is in Talladega that the finish line is after the D.
Yes.
The D shape.
It's at the end of the trioval.
Man. This is always confusing at the restarts. We are always going, yeah, green flag is back in the... Not yet.
No.
So where do we start with this race? Because yeah, it was amazing from the beginning. We had Christopher Bell, right? Christopher Bell.
Yes, Christopher Bell on the pole.
On the pole, and then the typical shuffling in the field with a lot of movement. We had Kevin Harvick starting from 24th, and he was in the top 10, I think, after 15 laps or something like this.
Yeah.
What we call it on the TV, it's chess with high speed.
Yes.
It's
a chess game at 300 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. And I honestly, not having the big one, the usual chain of big ones, made it really more interesting to me. Normally, I'm a little bit, you know, tired of super speedway racing because there's always the plot is the same. Wait, crash, last lap crash. This time, nope. The chess game was on, and you saw strategy, you saw green flag pit stops, you saw people trying to find their drafting partners, people losing the draft. You saw Danny Hamlin not having trouble. Well, that's a usual thing this year, I think. But it was brilliant.
Yes, definitely. Stage one went to Bubba Wallace ahead of Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Martin Truex Jr. Stage two, William Byron, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Busch. And I think there's the first bigger story. William Byron ahead of Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. The only one who really struggled to find the connection to the Hendrick guys was Alex Bowman. He
Yeah.
tried, and there was a part of the race where all four Hendrick cars were in line and they were managing because you had them lined up and
Mhm.
they could block whatever they wanted because yeah, if the first block was wrong, the second guy blocked the one, and then they opened the gap again to let the other guy get back into the lane. I saw a restart where the gap to move from the outside lane into the inside lane was already there before the green flag waved.
Yeah. They were timing it perfectly, they were strategizing it perfectly, and Toyota really needs to do something about it if they want to compete, because when you have so many cars and your top four cars at Hendrick are disorganized, I don't see how you can beat them,
It's just yeah.
unless, of course.
Yeah, you said the right word, organization. You have to
Yeah.
organize the train. And we saw sometimes people lacking support by other drivers. And on the other hand, when we had different drivers searching for support, it was there. So you
Mhm.
basically saw that some drivers were perfectly organized, spotters working together, manufacturers working together. We even saw Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski reunited because they
Yes.
found each other, they were pushing each other, they were working together. We also saw at some point Ross Chastain and Justin Haley together, different Justin Haley, yeah, they were already working together in the past in the Xfinity Series and stuff like
Mhm.
this. You saw the preferences. Also, Toyota and Ford. You saw Ryan Blaney and Bubba Wallace working together. Best buddies in real
Yes.
life. They are friends and they know each other so well that they can trust each other on a super speedway. So they work together. Even there was a Toyota and a Ford. They decided, yes, let's do it. And at some point, they even included Chase Elliott. So the third buddy.
The trio.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a, it's really a chess game. You're perfectly right. It's a chess game, and when you can really appreciate the strategy, all the work, and so on, you're not at that point. You're not just watching, waiting for the crash,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it good. At least I think so. And and it's refreshing to me that it really didn't end up the same usual way. In the end, it was a, well. How could you define that last lap? I was I, I I was really holding my breath
Yeah. Um.
and rooting for your guy Eric Jones, by the way.
Yeah. Me too. And then there was a problem. He was getting a big push. I think in turn 3, turn 4, and that was the nail in the coffin because what you don't
Yes.
want to have is a gap as the first place guy to the second place because you're dropping like you're a stone.
Yeah.
You're standing
So
still for the others.
yeah, the moment you create separation and you don't have a car pushing behind you, the air you are pushing drops behind your car and it slows you terribly quickly, slows you down, and the whole field catches up to you very quickly and literally
Yeah.
eats you alive. Uh, but my question was that intentional
Uh,
to leave him there
I
alone?
don't really know. I was hoping that he's winning. So,
I think it was intentional from the Chevys,
yeah,
from the other Chevys, from the Hendrick
yeah.
guys. Kyle
Uh,
Larson was following him. Yes, I
yes,
think so.
yes, yes. And he gave him a big push. And then something happened, and that's interesting what all of the drivers said. Okay, then Eric Jones, was the rock, and people were trying to find the right spot to be on the start finish sprint to the checkered flag. And what happened there? Everybody followed their instinct. Move up to the upper lane. This will be the right decision. And the only one who said, my instinct told me to go to the upper lane, but I saw myself making that mistake in the past and even in that race. So I did not trust my instinct. I stayed down. I stayed down. I stayed down. And then, like Moses splitting the sea.
On the Red Sea. Yes.
Yes, it was Ross Chastain seeing a big, big gate in front of him and saying, "Oh man, thanks for opening the door."
I'm winning. Oh, cool. Thank you.
And you saw him a little bit going up. No, 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 stay down. Up, stay down. Up, stay down. And Kyle Larson went up, lost the race.
Crashed into Kurt Busch.
Yeah, and then we had Eric Jones going up, lost the race, only 6 in the end. And the Watermelon Man from Florida won his second season race. And if you have told me before that season, to the Talladega race, that William Byron and Ross Chastain are the only guys with 2 wins, I would have loved it.
Yes. Never. I would have never thought this could happen. Ross Chastain winning 2 races in the same season for Trackhouse.
And this is amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And
Yes.
there's the story. This guy is 29 years old. He's not a youngster, but he's not old as well. He's in the perfect age. But he had struggles. He had a lot of obstacles on his career, but they left him alone. He was not when he failed. Nobody put a knot on around his neck, and
Yeah.
nobody cared. And this is something good because then you can bounce back. We saw it with Matt DiBenedetto. He was way more in the focus, and he has more problems because everybody expected him to do crazy stuff. Ross Chastain, on the other hand, who expected him to do that well? Nobody. In the past, nobody. Yet nobody. And we are, of course, very surprised. But on the other hand, he now needs to learn how to manage that success. But if you take a look at his career, first generation driver, of course, his father was a amateur driver as well. I think, what was it, 8th generation watermelon farmer and 16th generation farmer. Pete Fink, my commentary colleague and NASCAR expert in Germany, wrote an amazing text about Ross Chastain, and he had also his...
It's on leadlap.de.
Yeah, and also on motorsports.com in Germany. And Ross Chastain, he started his career backmarker teams, never big successes. And sometimes there were days in his career where he thought, "Hey, this is the chance." And then there was the FBI coming.
and locking up DC Solar.
DC Solar, and the guy, the owner of that company, Jeffrey Karpov, went to jail for, I think, 30 years. And sponsoring gone, right gone. He lost his job again. And then the other guy's bad luck or mistake is the other one's opportunity. When Kyle Larson made that big mistake during the pandemic, Ross Chastain was there and he got the chance by Chip Ganassi. Then he said, "Oh yeah, this is my chance." Chip Ganassi sold the team. So he was again there in the team, not knowing what his future will be. But the good thing is Justin Marks is a guy who likes consistency. So he said, "Okay, my driver is Daniel Suarez, but let's try." And I think that trust and this trust in consistency is now paying off. Ross Chastain, an amazing career, watermelon farmer from Florida, even got sponsoring money by the watermelon organization in Florida, and
the Watermelon Man t-shirts are Amazing.
Yes.
Beautiful. I want one.
He even was a runner-up in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, so he proved his worth. It's not like he was not performing. He was performing, but he never got the luck to have the consistency Justin Marks is relying on, that he's now taking advantage of. So basically, it took him years, many years, to find a home. And now he's repaying with amazing results. And I think, and you saw it in the races, Ross Chastain, this is not a one-hit wonder.
I think this is also an old school NASCAR story.
Yeah.
He's a blue collar guy. He's a farmer. He even offered some watermelon to a little kid on the start finish line when we got to the fence to get the checkered flag, and he offered some watermelon to a fan. NASCAR is known for having older champions compared to other forms of motorsport. And this is also not only because you needed experience to be the top guy, but also because your career needed time to develop. And opportunities came maybe later than in other forms of motorsport. We had a recent infusion of new talents, very young kids. And Ross Chastain is different. He's just different, and he's really talented, really good. But now comes the difficult part, because he won 2 races, he's in the playoffs. Now the pressure is there.
Yeah. And this is something. We have to take a look at. Is he handling the pressure well? Is he handling the success well? What I like about him is the pure emotion. When you heard him screaming after the race win, and what I really love, of course, is his signature move. I think this is a celebration like Carl Edwards. The backflip, the watermelon squash is amazing, and it's not even a waste because he's eating it afterwards in the winner's interview, so no waste of food.
Exactly. Or Kyle Larson doing the donuts with the wheel outside the window.
Yeah, but he's not allowed again to do it anymore, right?
That's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah. Then you have the bow from Kyle Busch. But this is not spectacular as squashing a watermelon. And by the way, it's not a watermelon from Florida. Pete Fink wrote it also in his article. They bought the watermelon in the supermarket.
Oh, come on. Supporting local economy.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, but when you said something very interesting. The young guys taking over, but we have some young guys developing or maturing into normal mid-age drivers that we still consider the young guys, and there are already young guys coming to challenge the mid-age guys. It's interesting. So we have Chase Elliott, 0 wins in first place. We have Ryan Blaney, second, 0 wins. We have William Byron, third, 2 wins. I never would have thought that. Then we have Kyle Busch, one of the only veterans with a win, in fourth. Alex Bowman, a win. Okay, Joey Logano, no wins. 6.
No wins.
Kyle Larson, 1 win, 7th. The current champion, also not that dominant as last year. Then Martin Truex Jr., no win, 8th. We have Ross Chastain in 9th, ahead of Eric Almirola, no win. Kevin Harvick, no wins. Chase Briscoe in 12th, a win. Austin Dillon, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Austin Cindric, a win. And then Kurt Busch, 18th. Daniel Suarez, 19th, just to complete the trackhouse stuff. Denny Hamlin, 24th. Yes, he has a win, but 24th. Brad Keselowski, 29th.
Keselowski is recovering from the big penalty. Consider that.
Yes, but 27th, 21st, 23rd, 12th, 14th, 13th, 17th, 11th, 23rd, 3rd. These are the last results of Brad Keselowski. And I think...
And Danny Hamlin, man, he got that win at Richmond, but then his season is just a disaster. 32nd, 13th, 29th, 18th, 28th, 35th.
And I think we have a phenomenon we saw with Jeff Gordon, we saw with Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, all those guys, even Richard Petty. Think about when Richard Petty last won a championship and his last race in NASCAR. There's a day, boom, you're not the dominant force anymore. There's a winter. You think, yeah, I'm coming back, no problem. I'm 38, 39, 46, whatever. And boom, the young guys are faster than you. And I think we have that transition because Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, William Byron, of course they are young, but there are also people like, let's say Blaney Chastain, 29 years old. They are becoming mid-aged drivers. They are not the young guns anymore. So
yes,
we have to adapt to a new picking order, hacking order, whatever you want to call it, in the NASCAR Cup Series. Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano. Even Joey Logano is young, but those guys, they will get a lot of pressure. And what I really like with the next gen car in the 2022 season, the gate is open like in front of Ross Chastain for surprises everywhere.
True, I completely agree. The usual suspects are not the usual suspects anymore. You could bet, until 2 years ago, you could bet on Kevin Harvick any day. Today, he was good at Talladega, but he's always generally good, but is that enough? Maybe not anymore.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the old guys, by the way. I'm rooting for the old guys anyway. But, man, I also wanted to talk to you about Kyle Busch, man.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Busch contract talks. His sponsor is out, M&M's, and he, apparently he's not really happy about how the situation is being handled by Joe Gibbs Racing, because he had a. Did you notice? Did you see that I think it was reported by Dustin Long on NBC. A little talk. He said, "Are you getting antsy about your contract?" The answer from Bush was, "I'm not getting antsy about it. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. Goodbye."
Yeah. And then
what?
and then what about your contract negotiations? Ask Joe Gibbs.
Ask Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
And then Dustin asked, "It's their problem, right?" And Bush answered, "Got to sell it. If you don't sell it, then nothing to have." So I wonder what he's implying. Well, first, Kyle Busch is the best heel in town.
Yeah.
If you like wrestling, he's better than MJF.
Yeah.
And MJF knows it.
Yeah.
And he's the greatest heel ever. And then he's implying that Joe Gibbs Racing is not doing enough to sell a big sponsor Kyle Busch's ride. And the answer is, well, the answer is there was, I think, some media follow up on this, and they the rumor is that there are talks, of course, and there should be some announcement soon, because they need a couple more validations from sponsors and so on. But the thing is, Kyle is not afraid to letting you know.
Yeah. and he also triggered Toyota to reply. Toyota replied.
Even Toyota. Yeah. Cool.
So
what did they say?
Then we have a two-time champion there. Something must happen, please. The thing is, of course, this is 90% Kyle Busch. This is his personality. This is what he is.
Yes.
But the 10%, I think, are also, he knows exactly what's happening when he's doing the Kyle Busch. Short answers, controversial words, and he knows exactly the machinery behind it will start to work. Yeah. I 100% would sign that there is a little bit of intention behind that.
But even if there is a little bit of intention, how cool, how funny it is.
He's selling it. He's selling it perfectly.
He's selling it great.
Yeah.
So will we see? The question is, will we see Kyle Busch back at Joe Gibbs Racing?
I say 99% yes, and the 1% is interesting, because we got the question in Germany. We talked about Denny Hamlin maybe retiring someday, handing over the cockpit to Ty Gibbs. Maybe Martin Truex Jr. ending his career, handing over the car to Ty Gibbs. And now we have to consider that
maybe
Kyle Busch giving away his 18 car to Ty Gibbs if he's not happy what's happening at Joe Gibbs Racing at the moment. And he also said after the Talladega race, what about your career and the contract? Yeah, I have a landing spot, he said. I have a landing spot. And what is it? Kyle Busch Motorsports. He has his
Oh
own team.
yes, and a strong relationship with Toyota.
So
So
basically,
is gonna be driving. Ty Gibbs is gonna be driving 3 cars next year.
yeah, maybe. So, but there is the 1% is that Kyle Busch is going to win the next 10 Truck Series titles.
Yeah, that could be.
Why
Or
not?
bring Kyle Busch Motorsports to Cup.
Yeah, yes. I think that's even possible. Because we were talking about what teams are allowed to do it. Because Junior Motorsports has a problem when we think about Dale Earnhardt Jr. moving up. I think Hendrick Motorsports has some stocks in there, some
Mhm.
ownerships. And I think that's not allowed. So you cannot be owner or part owner of two teams. So before Junior Motorsports is allowed to step up, I think they have to pay out Rick Hendrick. But Kyle Busch
Mhm.
Motorsports, I think Joe Gibbs has nothing to do with that. So that's basically something he could do. And Toyota is looking for more teams in the Cup Series.
So why not?
Why not that? Or he's just doing what he wants to do and say, okay, if you don't want me in the Cup Series, I don't care. I'm going to crush everybody in the NASCAR Truck Series for the next 10 years.
For the happiness of the
Yeah.
for the happiness of the NASCAR internet community. Goodbye. I'm out. I'm not gonna read Reddit anymore.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, but I
but
totally
it's
agree. It's interesting what's happening there. And this is also, the gates are open for surprises everywhere. Not only for Ross Chastain in Talladega.
definitely. Oh man. Oh, one last thing I wanted to have. It's a little bit of information for our listeners. During tech inspection at Talladega, Bob Pockrass noticed that cars had umbrellas over them. So they were covering the cars with umbrellas during tech inspection. You know why?
Hmm.
Bob Pockrass asked crew chiefs,
Hmm.
and the answer was the sun can impact the body of a car anywhere from 81 thousandths of an inch to 200 one thousandths of an inch. Now, I don't want to make the calculation, it's a very small amount, okay? But they are so focused on passing technical inspection with the optical system that even shading the cars during tech inspection can be an advantage. Speaking of research.
Amazing.
Yes, it's unbelievable, man. It's incredible that you have to resort to go to this amount of precision.
Yeah.
Research.
Yeah. Let's move very quickly to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I think what we have had there was a typical NASCAR Talladega race. Crash, stages, crash, overtime.
Yes, crash.
Yeah.
But there was an Earnhardt in it.
Yeah, there was an error in it. But before we come to
It was crash with an Earnhardt.
Yeah. Stage one went to Josh Berry ahead of Ty Gibbs, AJ Allmendinger, Landon Castle, and Austin Hill. Then we had in stage two Justin Allgaier, Sam Mayer, Austin Hill, Brandon Jones, and Ty Gibbs. And in the end, we make it quick. Noah Gragson won.
Yeah.
But we had Jeffrey Earnhardt in the three car, and Earnhardt in the three car, almost winning that race. Second place ahead of AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Sieg, and Landon Castle. So the story of the race was Jeffrey Earnhardt almost winning a race in a car with a big number 3 on it.
Don't forget the crew chief.
Yeah,
Larry McReynolds. The long time Dale Earnhardt crew chief turned commentator.
Yeah.
And for this race turned back to crew chief, and they delivered.
Yep.
Honestly, Larry was very clear after the race, saying that it was all the team's merit, and he just stepped in at the last moment and gave some indications, and he was just, strategizing during the race and so on. So he gave big credit to the team. But how cool it was to see an Earnhardt driving a 3 car with Larry Mack on the pit box.
Yeah, it was amazing. And what I think we can add here 2015. You met him. You met Jeffrey Earnhardt, I think.
Yes.
You worked with him at Brands Hatch because he went to Europe to drive in the NASCAR Wheel Years Series. I was not part of the media team back then in 2015. I joined in 2017, and I was not able to travel to Brands Hatch in 2015 because I was still at university and had no money to go there. But you were there, and you worked with Jeffrey Earnhardt at Brands Hatch. So what kind of person is that guy?
I can tell you, it is the first time you see him, you really, you're amazed for a second. You say, man, that smile, the way his face behaves when he talks, it's like, damn, he's like Dale Senior. The same expressions, the same shape, and you're there, just you have a flash for a second, and then when you talk to the guy, he's as many NASCAR driver, very humble, very funny, very friendly with everyone and anyone, kids, fans, has in the media team, the organization, the team. Everyone was really happy to work with him, and he was super funny. And the thing that hits me the most always with big NASCAR drivers is the level of access you can get.
Yeah.
They never turn their back on you. They never go away. They are always there, available for you. We did some clips with him. We did an interview. He was very nice. He was very nice with everyone, and he was very good in the races as well. First time at Brands Hatch. I don't know where he finished. Did you get the results?
I think one race was inside the top 10 and the other one was inside the barrier.
Yes. Yes.
I tried to remember because I watched the race recently on YouTube. You can find all the NASCAR Wheel Years Series highlights and full races back then. And I think I watched the highlight show, and I'm quite sure that he finished one race quite well, and the other one was a DNF. Let me see. I have it
maybe
here.
an 8th place. Yes.
Seventh in the second race and 20th in the first race. But he was, let's say, the status IFA, of course.
Oops. No, honestly, this impresses me all the time, and this is why I went into this business. I started working with and covering NASCAR because I was always a fan since when I was a kid. But then the first time I went to the US and I went to a NASCAR race, I discovered that they were so open and so available. And I said, okay, nobody's talking about NASCAR in Italy. Yep. That's me. And Jeffrey is the guy confirming all of this. Always available, always there for you.
Yes.
Fantastic guy. I'm really happy for him. And I really hope this gives him more opportunities. You never know. He's 33 years old. He's not a young kid anymore.
Yep.
But I really hope he gets more opportunities.
And I can a little bit of forecasting to June when we have a broadcast here or a show here on Europeans Watching American Racing. We will talk about Bobby Labonte 100% as well, because we worked together with Bobby in the NASCAR Wheel Years Series as well, and he was a full-time driver, and he's going to join the SRX series by Tony Stewart again in 2022.
Woo-hoo.
And
he's racing modified as well.
Yeah. And when we talk about the SRX, I think at the beginning of June, we can tell some very interesting stories and nice stories about Bobby Labonte, who was just amazing when we met him and when we worked with him. Was it a 7 or 6 event calendar? I think 7 event calendar back then.
Seven in 2018. He did all of them, and it was just unbelievable to have him.
To a speedway. On an oval.
Yes.
Oh man, these times. We were going to tell something about Bobby Labonte later. So
but when they tell you that running ovals is just turning left, it is not. And you can see it in person. You really see the difference.
Yeah. So we are very lucky to meet people like Bobby Labonte, Jeffrey Earnhardt, in your case, and we hope, of course, in the future we will see more people coming from the US to Europe to drive in the
Yes.
NASCAR World Years Series, because this is also our opportunity to get to know people, and work with them, and when you spend time with them, like Jacques Villeneuve, also in the NASCAR World Years Series, former Formula One champion, we worked with him now for 3 years.
Yes,
Three
but
three
also
years.
yep.
Yeah.
But also Julia Landauer, Maya
Yeah.
Snyder, they are all and European drivers. Were I have to say they are not used to be so open because in Europe, let's say that motorsport is more focused on the performance.
Yeah.
So all the majority of the drivers are 100% focused on their driving performance, and they don't develop as much their relationship with the media, with the people, and so on. But they are learning, and the good examples, Jeffrey, Julia, Maya, Bobby, they are there.
Yeah.
When they meet them, they understand immediately the concept and what
Oh,
is it to be an
yeah.
NASCAR driver.
All American drivers. Andre Castro as well.
Yes, Andre
Yeah.
Castro
Yeah.
as well.
Amazing,
Yes,
amazing kids. Yeah. And people, perfect. Jennifer Jacob, we had her as well in the NASCAR Win Years Series. Brandon Godovich,
yes,
and
Jennifer,
man, the list is long.
Max Papis,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
They and I have to say again, European drivers, they understood the concept, they are learning,
Yeah.
and so whenever you have the opportunity to meet them, they are super engaging and really funny. So
Yeah, but to Bobby Labonte later in June, I think,
in
when
June,
we
yes,
talk about the SRX. Let's go to the IndyCar stuff. I think we have, or
yeah, IndyCar stuff.
where do
We
you
have
want to
a few
start?
things.
Do you want to start with the testing at the Indy 500, Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy 500, or the shake-up of the qualifying format? That's quite complicated.
Um, oh man, let's start with the test,
Okay.
please. On track action.
Okay, 368 kph, 229 miles per hour. Joseph Newgarden topped the test. Do I have to say anything more?
Man,
368.
I have chills.
Not 400 meters like in the NHRA. 2.5
No,
miles with
miles
turning, battling 32 other guys.
with a wall on your right, waiting for you.
I don't know. This is crazy.
And we are not the only ones to think to say so. Huh? Jimmy Johnson said it as well. Jimmy Johnson turned from NASCAR to IndyCar. First time at Indy, driving an IndyCar at Indy. He has a lot of experience at Indianapolis, not on that car. And he said, now I understand why the IndyCar drivers have that smile on their face. Because it's a thrill. It's something you can try to explain, but once you do it, you know. It's the sense of speed.
Yeah. Man, 368. I can not even imagine. And I'm German. We are allowed to go as fast as we want on our highways. The best I made, let me think. My Renault Megane Grand Tour is able about 220. Every car I owned or every car I drove on the highway, I when the highway is safe, of course, and no traffic and few cars, I always test how fast they go, because if you know how fast they go, you can control them.
Yes.
So that's why I always try it. I know in other countries in Europe it's not allowed. So in Germany I have no problem. I go on the highway that's over there. On YouTube you can see me pointing. On the podcast shows, just let's say 500 meters to the west, and I can go there and drive 10 minutes to the west, and then it's open. I can do whatever I want. 220 with my Renault Megane, 210 with the Ford Fiesta. My Kia Picanto was 180. My Kia Ceed, I had a Pro Ceed. It was, I think, 210. And I have the Peugeot 206 that was around 200. So I think, wait. I had a rental car. Once I went 240, I think, is the maximum I did.
And it's
It's
scary.
it's already scary, and you're in a safe environment. You're not racing. You're not open wheel. You have no downforce. you're just going straight. And these guys are doing it with G-forces on an oval. And they are almost doubled the pace I had.
Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable how quick they go and how I don't know how it takes a lot of should we say steel balls to to
Yeah.
do that. It's tremendous. But anyways, they did what 2 days of testing.
Mhm.
Who was quickest? Joseph
On
Newgarden,
on
I
one
think.
day, of
Yes.
course, yes. Oh, I just checked one day.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Second day, rain shortened. The
Okay.
second day was rain shortened. So 39 seconds, 229 kilometers
Miles
per
per hour.
hour. Man, miles
Miles.
per hour. That's unbelievable.
If it would have
And
been
they
kph, it would have been my pace on the highway.
yes, that's right. And the comments Jimmy Johnson made, I found them on NBC Sports, so maybe we can leave the link in the description. It's an article by Bruce Martin. Um, I also noted that IndyCar is extending the life of the DW12 chassis
Mhm.
for at least through 2024.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. They are first developing the hybrid engine. Doesn't make sense to change the chassis as well, right?
Yeah, totally agree. Short. And also, they are, of course, like all other series, trying to reduce their carbon footprint in the future. They have a new strategy, sustainability strategy with Firestone and Shell. So, yeah, the typical stuff.
Yep. And now we're gonna have to decide who is going to explain this thing.
Okay, I try. I try. It's all about
Yes.
getting a secure starting position in the Indy 500. 33 spots available. We don't even know if we have more than 33 cars. We don't really know if we need it
Nah,
to
that's true.
qualify. But
Mhm.
even if you want to have a better starting position, in the past, you made your time, you did your lap, and then you had the opportunity to go to the fast lane. And if you were in time to go out, your previous time was cancelled and you had to redo. If it was worse, bad luck. If it was better, good luck. So with that rule, we saw people entering the Indy 500 grid in the very last minute. This time we have two lines, like a choose rule. The first line is the normal fast line. You have priority to go on track, but your time will be cancelled the previous time. The second line will be it's like on an airport.
Oh yes, the priority lane when you're boarding. Man, you found the perfect comparison. Good job.
In this second, I thought about it. It's a priority line with the boarding of a plane. You have priority and you can take your seat. But okay, if you're doing a bad job, your seat will not be cancelled. But your previous time will be cancelled, and you go on the track and you have a second attempt, but you have priority in the fast lane. If you go on the other lane, you have to wait, and maybe you will not get on the track anymore because the time runs down when anybody else goes into the priority lane, into the fast lane. You will stay there and wait and wait and wait. But if there's a time slot, they can send you on a track. You don't have the disadvantage of your time being cancelled. So you have a secure run. You can try to improve without your previous time being cancelled.
And if you're like me, you wait until the very last moment and you board that last because the plane is not leaving without you anyway.
Yes, yes, yes. I experienced that as well. Normally, I'm very in time because I'm German, but there was one time at the airport I was very, very, very late, and they were all waiting for me.
Ouch.
uh,
But then, yes, this is what happens on Saturday, right?
yeah.
On Sunday they have 3 sessions. They have a last chance qualifying, and then the session determining positions 7 to 12. So on Saturday they determine positions 13 to
30.
30 or 33.
Depends on how many
Okay,
cars entering. Yeah.
exactly. On Sunday, the first session at 2 p.m. is 2 p.m. local time, no, ET, 2 p.m. ET, is determining position 31 to 33, with the possibility of bumping out other competitors
Yep.
if there are more than 33 cars. Then they have a session, the top 12 qualifying, to determine position 7 to 12. So basically, the best six will advance to a further session, the Firestone Fast Six, to determine the first two lines of the grid.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a typical European way with super poles or Q1, Q2, Q2, Q3, stuff like this. I don't see any
Well, looks like
special there. Yeah.
no, but looks like a compact format. I'm curious to see how it goes.
Yeah. But before the Indy 500, we have the next race on Sunday, May 1st at Birmingham, the Barber Motorsports Park race, the first race on a, let's say, permanent racetrack in this season.
Mhm.
So we're going to go to that 2.366 mile 17 turn road course in Alabama. The race distance is 90 laps, about 213 miles. Yeah, we will see amazing racing there. We have push to pass parameters, 200 seconds of total time with a maximum single duration of 20 seconds, if you're interested in that. And it's going to be, the green flag will be at 12:15 p.m. Local time, I think it is. Local, yeah, or central time. So it's going to be in the evening in Europe. Perfect prime time. Green flag for us here to watch the Honda GP of Alabama, 90 laps. There, the last year's winner is Alex Palou, the current champion. Last year we had Peter O'Ward, I think, on the pole position. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the next round of the IndyCar series. But yeah, we will talk about that in the next episode afterwards. There's another race.
You have
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Go on.
Okay,
There's
there's
another
another
race.
race. IMSA Racing is back as well at the legendary
Laguna
Laguna
Seca.
Seca. Yes, the Corkscrew. 32 cars entered for that race. We have a normal sprint race, no super sprint, no endurance race, a normal sprint race, 2 hours and 40 minutes in the end, and 32 car grid among the classes we have there. We have 6 cars in the DPI, in the LMP2, and in the GTD Pro, all 6 cars. And we have 14 GTD entries, so a very competitive field. Nothing major about the silly season or people joining teams. We have former Porsche factory driver Marco Holzer joining NTE Sport in the Lamborghini. We have a little bit added weight for the GTD Pro Corvettes. They have to put in 20 kilograms to their cars, the GTE cars that are modified with electronic systems like ABS, and they have a little bit of modification in the aerodynamics, so they are allowed to compete with the GT3 cars until they have developed a known GT3 car at GM. And we have Ricky Taylor from Wayne Taylor Racing in the DPI class telling that he's going to pursue a more aggressive approach in that race to fight for the championship. So this is going to be interesting because in the DPI I think the battles were already quite aggressive. So Ricky Taylor wants to bring it to another level. Reported by Sports Car 365 by John Deggy. So these are the information I have about the IMSA race. I really love Laguna Seca. Let's keep that short. I love Laguna Seca. The Corkscrew is just amazing.
I'm all for it. Same here. Anything, anytime, any series races at Laguna Seca, big smile on my face. The place is amazing. What else we have on track this weekend, man?
Oh, yes,
We
Dover.
have Yes, we have the Monster Mile for the NASCAR Cup Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Laguna Seca for IMSA, Barber for IndyCar, and we have the NHRA at the ZMAX Dragway in Concord, North Carolina for the four-way nationals. We go four wide national. We go four wide again in Charlotte. But if you are a motorsport fan, this weekend you have everything.
This is going to be interesting. Maybe the next episode is going to be an endurance round for us.
Yes.
We have to keep it quite short. But I have one question for you, Dover. I told you the gates are open for surprises. Normally, I would expect a veteran driver to dominate the race and everything's as usual. But what is as usual in the NASCAR series in 2022?
Nothing is usual anymore.
But
this...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, go.
My expectation is expect the unexpected.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe because it's now unexpected, we will have a veteran driver winning.
But then you don't expect it, so it's the unexpected.
Come on.
Yeah.
Ouch, you got me.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott,
Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin. Those are the names. But in the end, let's see. Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon. Why not? Daniel Suarez.
Why not? Huh. And what I know is that I'm going to watch it.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
Sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yes. This is the next week, and I think we can spoiler one thing. The week afterwards, it's going to be very tough for us to follow the action because we will be on track at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo at Valencia in Spain. We're traveling to the season opener of the NASCAR Wheel and Year Series to work for the series in the media team. So if you want to join us, follow us on social media. Gian is on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Join Europeans Watching American Racing on socials to not miss any information about the show and some important news about American racing. And if you want to join us for the NASCAR Wheel and Year Series, go to the official channels and especially YouTube. Leave a subscription there because we're going to be live for free. Gianluca is going to overlook the live streaming and join you in the chat while I'm doing the pre- and post-race interviews. During the race, I'm going to join you in the chat so Gianluca can focus on the TV production.
On the overall production.
Yeah, with the Croatian crew we have there. Amazing guys. Greets to Igor. Ivan, sorry. Ivan, yeah. So... yeah, this is going to be amazing, but of course, we're going to sit in the media center from 7 in the morning to midnight. It's going to be quite hard for us to follow the action, but we will be prepared for that show. And maybe this show is going to be delayed, so we have the chance to rewatch stuff.
To rewatch something.
Yes, but we will let you know on social media. And again, apologies for this delay in this week, but we told you. NASCAR Wheel and Year Series season opener is approaching, and that's why we are working at full speed to prepare anything for you guys on the media side. So, and of course, we are freelancers. We have some stuff to do for other clients as well. So, this show was delayed due to that. I hope you're okay with that, and you're accepting that. Thank you so much, guys.
I'm joining André in apologizing again for this delay, and I wish you all the best for this week, and see you next week on European Watching American Racing. Like, comment, subscribe, and join us on social networks.
And of course, if you have any questions regarding American racing, leave it in the comments. We are open to answer questions all the time. So goodbye.